Inspector summary video. This is Inspector Meneses here. We have an original fire escape here on a very old building, 1830s. This fire escape probably is in 75 to 100 years old. All original hardware, square head bolts everywhere. So a lot of rust in all the build-up and all the connections. Original hardware in all the treads. A lot of treads are built with bolts and rivets to hold them down, but again, all original hardware. Very little, if no evidence of maintenance on this entire fire escape. I'm finding that 100% of all the structural needs to be done on all the treads and all the supports. Once you rebuild all this, you don't have to do the load test. I'm seeing a few pieces that might need to be either sistered or replaced, but not many. Again, all the rivets, load test them, or as soon as we replace these and or sister them up with some additional bolting, we don't have to load test. And the connections seem to be very big monster through bolts on all these, and those pretty much might be they're verifiable. Otherwise, a new connection will be made about 5 inches away, epoxy bolted into the old masonry. We can also unify a lot of these with an angle across marrying all three, unification with the hex, with the Hilti bolts, and that'll help this avoid being load tested. Okay, the entire fire escape system, it's got rust in every connection, every tread. It's got rust. Fire escape has been painted, so paint rust is not a major issue, but even though you got spot rust here happening everywhere. Grates are all flats, so the major connection points are this way, but these rivets are the minors. As long as they're in good condition, they don't have to be replaced. Original hardware everywhere, square head bolts everywhere. 100% of the rust must be removed. I believe since this fire escape is older than 78, it should have lead, but if it's been de-leaded or there is no lead on this fire escape, we need to get a letter. When these bolts are gone, that's that's why these gussets all need to be done. We've got scaffolding here. This is going to be very helpful in getting a lot of this work done. Painting the fire escape from all angles. Again, all original hardware everywhere. Treads. Rust, got to get all this all cleaned out. All these connections got to be sealed with 50 years silicone after repair. Otherwise, the water and the rust will start all over again. And a lot of these, once we verify the connection in the wall and these rivets, we've got room for another bolt in here. Keep the originals, seal this whole thing up, put a new bolt through, and basically we're going to stop having to have this thing load tested. All rivets plus square heads. Some build up. Anytime we get excessive rust, either replace the member or we'll sister up the member to avoid having to replace the member if it's a difficult job. So then it starts repeating itself all the way down. In some cases we've got some material that's worn, but again, we can sister that up with a piece of flat, or we can remove it and put a new one in. Treads are falling, but this is what happens, and this is what's happening in all the treads. So be careful not to let anybody get on this fire escape, especially because now you see why we have to replace 100% of all the treads. See, all the studs from the bolts, they're gone. Even though they're there, they're gone, and you step on these, you fall through. This one's ready to fall. This one's ready to fall, and so on and so forth. And that includes all the fire escape. But yet, when you look here, the rivets, the heads are still there. So, typical all the way down. Frame, anything that's up against the building needs to be sealed with silicone. Bolts need to be changed out. These rivets need to be verified. Or we can put some additional bolts. Keep the originals if they're in good to excellent condition, and just back it up with a new bolt. That way you don't have to verify this connection or load test it. Typical changed bolt replacement, originals changed. But the one thing missing here, we need to seal this up. After you change all these bolts, you need to seal this up so water doesn't get in here. Again, 100% of the treads going up and down this fire escape. 100% of these treads need to be done. All original hardware. Some evidence in, for example, this area where water keeps getting driven once you repair repair this area, just close this up with silicone or tar even. But again, every one of these crevices must be sealed with silicone. 50 silicone. There's another connection point into the building. Once it's verified, all this must be cleaned out. New clips, and whenever possible, if the material is worn, we got to replace or sister a piece of it so we don't have to replace the whole member. Okay, they're going all the way down. Fire escape needs a full paint job. The system here doesn't have a weight balance. It's a guillotine ladder. When it drops, there's the hook. Got to find out if that's still what they want to have here for it to guillotine down. It is an enclosed backyard. There is no access here. You got 15 and 6 and higher walls here. All original hardware, railings. All these areas got to be sealed. Once everything gets repaired, every single joint needs to be sealed with silicone to avoid the water getting in there for the future of this building. You clean that and then you seal it. No more water is going to get it. But you got to change all these bolts. 100% of all the superstructure needs to be rebolted. All the minor structural needs to stay if it's in good to excellent condition, and that will avoid the load test. So this fire escape has too much original hardware, so refurbishment is the way to go on this. Any questions? Fire escape engineers. Inspector summary video. This is Inspector Meneses. 866-649-0333. Fire escape engineers.